Penny Saeger is my 600-pound life's worst mother. After thousands of dollars in surgery, countless man-hours from her family and medical professionals, and even a stage on national television, she made little to no progress during her time being filmed by TLC. And very quickly you're gonna realize why. Because Penny has by and far one of the worst attitudes I've ever seen on this show, helped very little by her husband being one of the worst enablers I've ever seen. Penny's story is a roller coaster to say the least, but it really begins in 2014 when her episode of My 600-Pound Life premiered. The first episode opens with a brief introduction to the subject of today's video, a woman named Penny Saeger, and at the time she was 45 years old along with being 530 pounds. Our first look at Penny comes when her husband has to help her use the restroom. She is completely bedridden and claims that it comes with a set of difficulties. After this introduction, we get a better look at her husband, Edgar, who carries away her waist and brings her in some chicken nuggets, giving us just a small taste of the massive amounts of enablement to come. Despite this discouraging start, Penny claims that she knows that she's a food addict, and throughout her life with problems have come pounds. After this, we learn that Penny is a mother to a young boy named Liam, and Penny claims that her weight has prevented her from being a mother to her fullest potential, saying that she's only able to care for him when he comes to her, within what she calls her bubble. After that, we finally hear from Edgar, who I'm just gonna call Ed from this point forward. He said that his wife's weight has caused a number of issues in their life, claiming that he's basically a single father. Penny is unable to attend any social event for her son, being bedridden for quite some time. We then hear from Penny's sisters, Christina and Angelina, who both admit that Penny is unable to be a good mother with her current health, both of them crying about how worried they are for Penny. The sisters say that Penny is only partly to blame for her weight gain, believing that their childhood played a significant role in her problems. Both sisters claimed that their father was violent towards their mother, and that Penny, being the oldest, saw the brunt of it, saying that her problem has only gotten worse since then. We then hear how Ed and Penny met. Ed says that he met Penny at a restaurant waiting in line at the bar, eventually agreeing to go on a date, and getting married less than a year later. Ed said that Penny was around 400 pounds when he met her, and that they could still go do things, but that changed when she became pregnant, at around 600 pounds. Thankfully, her son was born completely healthy, but this pregnancy had to have been extremely high risk. Ed also says that he is unable to find employment because he is a full-time caretaker for Penny. He has been for a long time, and they live off of her disability checks from the government. After learning all that, we see Penny writing up a grocery list for Ed to go pick up, and it's hard not to notice that most of it's junk food, pastries, and ice cream in particular. Penny's sisters say that Ed is a good guy, but he does enable her, but that he also doesn't have much of a choice because she can be quite demanding. Despite all of this, Penny's attitude is still generally good, saying that her son deserves a full-time mother. After that, we see the family packing for Houston to go and visit Dr. Now, and Edgar had to plan with about half a dozen EMS to get her out of the house and into their van. Moving Penny was not easy, it took a fair amount of coordination, but that wasn't even the hard part, because Penny lives in Maryland, and with her being loaded into the back of their van, they couldn't stop until they got to Houston, which is in Texas. For those who don't know, it's probably about a 20-hour drive, give or take a couple hours. But Edgar said that they would be unable to stop, and he would be unable to sleep until they got to Texas. And Edgar seemed to drive with no sleep, but that didn't mean there weren't going to be stops. We see Penny stopping for fast food twice, asking for unhealthy options, even when Edgar tries to encourage her towards a healthier meal. Needless to say, we're not off to a good start, but it gets even worse by what Penny says next, that her and Edgar have been taking donations for this trip, and that it has put their family at great financial risk. So friends, families, and other people chipped in to help her make this trip and set up housing in Texas. And it was because of this that she said if she failed, it would be catastrophic, because now she had gotten the support of tons of other people too. After arriving at the hospital, Dr. Now comes out to greet Penny, who immediately starts crying, thanking him for all of his help, saying that something he said to her during a call meant the world to her and encouraged her to actually make the trip. But I don't think Dr. Now is so convinced. It's almost like he can see right through Penny from the start, because he claims that this is going to be quite the challenge. We also get to hear the doctor give some of his initial thoughts.
Penny is very large.
After getting a bit more settled in, they decide to check Penny's weight, and she comes in at 530 pounds, which is not the heaviest weight seen on My 600 Pound Life, but the doctor does comment about her BMI, claiming that it is over 4 times higher than the average person, and that this could have severe implications for her health. He then starts running some basic tests on Penny, asking her to move her legs, which she barely does, and then cutting off her flow of oxygen. Turns out Penny wasn't a very big fan of that. Dr. Now read her levels without the oxygen running and said they were completely fine, even higher than his, but Penny claimed that without it she would begin to lose feeling in her fingers and toes, immediately requesting that the doctor turn it back on. And it's like I said before, Dr. Now had this uncanny ability to see right through Penny, because he then tells us his thoughts. He says that Penny likes to play a victim and turn her family members into enablers, and that this dynamic is particularly hard to break. But he sets her the goal of 25 to 50 pounds weight loss, and gives her a month in the hospital to achieve it. After this, we see a montage of Penny's first weeks in the hospital. She's seen eating healthy foods and sticking to her weight loss goals. Fast forward another 2 weeks, and Penny has lost 40 pounds, and the doctor comes to check in on her progress. Penny says that she's lost so much weight that the roll of fat she used to shoot her insulin in is now gone. The doctor says that that's great, and she met the goal, so she's approved for her first round of surgery. And jumping forward again, the surgery goes well. They remove a large portion of her stomach, which Dr. Now claims has grown in size due to her overeating, also saying that with a stomach of this size it would be almost impossible to feel full. Ed and Liam go to see Penny, who is still kind of woozy from the surgery, and Ed talks about how this is the beginning of a new chapter in their life. Skipping forward another week, we get a look at Penny post-operation, and she is completely unwilling to walk for a nurse who is requesting her to, something that she should be capable of by now, and the doctor's recommended form of exercise for her. Penny claims that her walking right now would be a miracle, like if she went to sleep and after the surgery she was suddenly able to play piano. The doctor says that if she doesn't walk, she's gonna struggle to lose weight. After that conversation, we get a brief tour of Ed's apartment in Houston. While Penny has been at the hospital, him and Liam have been living in a 1-bedroom apartment, sharing a bunk bed. We also get a look at what Ed and Liam have been eating since the move, and it's mostly junk food. Needless to say, things are not looking good.
I just hope she doesn't expect me to eat as little as she eats.
It's now the 3rd month of Penny's journey, and the 1st month since she had the surgery, but she has had absolutely no weight loss since. And after getting a brief look at Penny, it's clear what's been going on. She requests a pudding with her dinner, and staff inform her that she's on a liquid diet of 1,200 calories.
No one told me I had to lose weight when I got here.
Dr. Now is justifiably concerned. He said that for Penny to be maintaining her weight, someone has to be smuggling her food. And I mean, there's only one person that could be doing it. It's Ed, something that I have no doubt he's been doing on Penny's orders. The doctor almost immediately goes to confront her on this, claiming that it must be one of those miracles she was talking about because she hasn't lost any weight, even though Penny claims that she is eating only 1,200 calories. On the side, the doctor says that Penny is emotionally and physically unchanged. He doubts her desire to get healthy, and once again asks her to get up and walk, but she claims that she is just too weak. Cut forward a couple of weeks, and Penny is still not complying with Dr. Now's regimen, so he has decided to send her home. He has run out of ways to help her, and hopes that a positive environment change will bring with it positive behavior change. Penny is also excited to return home, and a final weigh-in shows that she still hasn't lost any weight since the surgery. An ambulance then takes her to Liam and Ed's apartment, and she almost immediately starts complaining, saying that she expected her bed to be put in front of the TV, causing him to completely rearrange their living room to her liking. It's now the 5th month of Penny's journey, and Dr. Now has provided her a physical therapist to assist her in walking, something that Penny is still very reluctant to do, putting in absolutely minimal effort when prompted by the therapist. And the physical therapist is pretty discouraged. He says that while he's never worked with a patient of her size, he knows that she can do more, and that it's going to be very difficult for her condition to improve without doing so. Penny has been making so little progress that we cut forward another month to halfway through her journey, and it's revealed that Penny has been missing her appointments with Dr. Now, and completely refusing any attempt to walk. Penny blames it all on the hospital, saying that there wasn't really a diet she was given, and that she could only eat so many creams of wheat and popsicles before she'd had enough. But I specifically remember Dr. Now giving her a pamphlet on diets right before she left the hospital, where they had her on a 1,200 calorie diet. We didn't really get a taste of just how bad Penny was until she returned home, at least in terms of blaming others for things that she was responsible for. Those doctors did not convince Ed to smuggle in fast food for you, Penny. That's all you. Penny's sitting here talking about how the doctors are wrong while Ed is literally deep frying something in the kitchen, which he claims is healthier than ordering out. It is now month 7, and Penny has missed every single scheduled checkup with the doctor. Since she left the hospital, it's almost like she's not even in the program, and their Houston living situation is quickly turning into the same one they had in Maryland. We then get to hear a phone call between Dr. Now and Penny, and it goes about exactly how you'd expect. The doctor scolds Penny for not attending her meetings and requests that she gets in an ambulance and goes up to the hospital that day, and she agrees, going to the hospital and visiting with the doctor for the first time in months. During the ambulance ride, Penny brags that she's probably lost around 300 pounds, but we quickly find out that she has gained 5 since she left the hospital. After being confronted by the doctor on this, Penny begins to cry and claims that the beginning scales were off, and that she had to have initially weighed more than that. It's just another in the long line of excuses that Penny has made for her condition. If it's not Ed's fault, it's the hospital's fault, or even the scales. It's hard to improve a problem if you don't take accountability for it, and it seemed like Penny never truly did.
I think I was
There's no
misweighed
way.
in the beginning.
There's no way.
The doctor is absolutely awestruck at Penny's excuses, having very little advice to give a person that's unable to take it, so he turns his back and leaves the room when Penny is mid-sentence. And with some of the stuff that she's been saying, I can't blame him. She is taking absolutely zero accountability for her actions, doing exactly what the doctor said she was doing in the beginning, playing the victim so her family keeps enabling her. Penny then starts crying about how she's going to be stuck in Texas for longer, and that she thinks the only way for her to get better is to return home to Maryland. She says that she thinks it might be game over, and that Dr. Now might have pushed her to that point. But I have absolutely no idea what this doctor has done for her besides try to provide the best medical advice possible. It's not like he can force you to follow all of his advice. That's on you. But Penny is ever the victim, and that's what's made her so infamous. Dr. Now says that he's not getting through to Penny, and that she's her own worst enemy, with Ed being the second, immediately proven by Ed offering to get Penny some ice cream because she was upset. It's now month 9, and Penny is still back in her Houston apartment, with little appearing to have changed, at least on the surface, but the meal that they prepare for the camera is very healthy looking. though I highly doubt it's what they're eating every night. Personally, I think it was Penny playing it up for the cameras, because she had still made no weight loss progress since her surgery. She says that one of her driving factors in a new health journey is Liam's upcoming kindergarten graduation, an event that she wants to attend and will be unable to unless she can walk. So, with her goal set, she re-invites the physical therapist to work with her, hoping to achieve mobility in 2 months before Liam's graduation. And for the first time in the entire show, it looks like Penny is putting in some effort, starting out with just standing, something that she hasn't really done in years. But after another time skip, we quickly find out that this didn't last. It is now the time of Liam's graduation, and Penny is still unable to walk, after having 4 months of physical therapy opportunities. So just Liam and his father attend his kindergarten graduation, while Penny sits at home. Penny then talks about her feelings towards anyone criticizing her for not going to this event, claiming that she does more for her kid than most moms do for theirs, because she's at home all day and not a part of the workforce. I think this is yet another perfect encapsulation of Penny's mindset, that she is better than everyone else and exempt from criticism, at least in her own mind. She has made virtually no change in the entire time she's been documented, and most of it has to do with her inability to take advice from the doctors and her missing most of her appointments with them. And because Penny's not going into the hospital, the doctor is sending professionals to her. A dietitian named Kim Lin would go to visit Penny one day in Houston, and is immediately met with resistance. For simply being asked why Penny wanted to lose weight, she said that it was an asinine question, and starts berating the dietitian, much to the embarrassment of Ed, who watches on silently. Penny also says that she refuses to set goals for herself because that's how people get lazy, which to me makes absolutely no sense. After the confrontation, the dietitian decides to take a look at what food the family has in the home. And of course, the house is full of junk food. When the dietitian starts talking about some of the unhealthy cereals that Ed has bought for his son, Penny tells her child on the side that they will not be throwing away any of his cereals, not until he's 18. It was clear to me from that point forward that Penny was not interested in changing, and was very confrontational with any professional trying to help her. After the dietitian leaves, we jump forward another couple weeks, and Penny has missed multiple doctor's appointments. It's now been a year since she has been filmed by My 600 Pound Life, and has missed nearly every single appointment with Dr. Now, so he would call her into the hospital for evaluation, and she actually came. But when she got on the scale, it was revealed that she still hadn't lost any weight, remaining exactly the same for the past couple of months, and showing almost no weight loss since her surgery. After finding this out, Penny is emotional, especially when Dr. Now comes to confront her. The doctor says that he's tried everything with Penny, and she says that it's hard to live in a world where she has put him up on a pedestal, referring to him as her earthly god, taking absolutely no responsibility for her actions. Penny then starts blaming the surgery, saying that she's doing everything that she's supposed to do, but the surgery is not working. And the doctor reminds her that she should have lost significant amounts of weight since, claiming that Penny lives in a false reality, and I completely agree. The visit concludes with Penny saying that she can't go any further with the program, and that she wants to return to Maryland. And after that, we hop forward another week, and the family has decided to make the move, claiming that weight loss will be more successful back home. The episode ends with Penny saying she knows that her son is proud of her despite her not losing the weight, along with giving various excuses for why she didn't. But Dr. Now's final comments on this are far more somber. He believes that due to Penny's mentality, she will likely never change. And the episode ends with the family still in Houston but planning to move back home to Maryland soon. And this could have been the last time that we heard from Penny, but TLC would follow up with her in their show My 600 Pound Life, Where Are They Now? That tracks the success and failure of previous subjects of episodes. And I found Penny's episode particularly interesting, because an episode usually covers 2 subjects, and this one had someone who had really seen success, and then Penny, who changed a little to none since the last time we saw her. Where Are They Now opens with a shot of the Saeger family, who have moved back back to Maryland like they said, and Penny claims that the past year has been a waste, deciding to not stick to her weight loss program. We then hear from Dr. Now, who says that what happened with Penny is unfortunate, saying that she didn't want to change, and that she had moved back home so that she could have her family better enable her. Penny says that it's been much better now that she's back home, and that Dr. Now's negativity was to blame for a lot of her problems. After checking in with the other subject of the episode, Tara, we cut back to Penny, who is couponing, claiming that this is how she saves the family money, possibly even doing more than Ed does. An absolutely insane statement to make.
I'm financially providing as much for our family as Edgar.
Dr. Now says that Penny seeks control over others through enabling, and that her couponing is just a way for her to get the foods that she wants, under the guise of it being a deal. And Ed, ever the enabler, always complies. Sometimes he'll act like he's frustrated for the camera, but he almost gives no pushback. Penny also takes this opportunity to blame Ed for buying her unhealthy food, saying that now that she coupons, he has to buy what she says, claiming that it's healthy. But Ed's trip to the supermarket, which is filmed, paints a very different picture. She sends Ed to like 6 different stores, all in the name of couponing, but she also gives very specific instructions on what she wants, even setting down and working out a game plan with Ed before he leaves. Ed claims that everything he puts in the basket has to be approved by Penny, who he has to call multiple times to verify small details. If anything, Penny has gone backwards in her journey since she appeared in the first My 600 Pound Life episode. She's made so little progress that truthfully she takes up very little of the runtime, the majority of which is taken up by Tara, who is doing much better, losing a significant amount of weight and continuing with her weight loss journey. And that seems to have come through acceptance and hard work, 2 things that Penny has shown very little of during my time watching her. After all the couponing, there's a 2-month time skip, and it's now been a year and 4 months since she's been filmed, but almost nothing has changed, least of all Penny's attitude. After once again claiming that none of this is her fault, we see that Penny has a nurse that is visiting her in her home, and she claims that this happens at least once a week. After a brief introduction, we see the nurse cleaning some of Penny's open wounds, caused by her skin rubbing together so much, and it's clear that Penny is in much worse condition than when they first started filming her a year ago. Penny says that she wants to get this infection healed up and hopefully attain more mobility before Halloween, so that she could go out trick-or-treating with her son. When Penny first started this weight loss journey, she claimed it was so she could be a better mother to her child. And I can't help but think that if she actually had stuck to Dr. Now's program, she most likely wouldn't have had any issues taking her child out on Halloween. But she's been so busy blaming others that absolutely no progress has been made. Skip ahead yet another couple months and it's Halloween, and Penny's health doesn't seem to have improved much, but she is keeping her promise to her son, going out to trick-or-treat with him. I also find it quite fitting that Ed is dressed as a prisoner. The whole process is pretty difficult for Penny and Ed. Even in a wheelchair, Penny is extremely uncomfortable, but Ed is even more so, as he pushes Penny all around the neighborhood. The night is relatively uneventful, except for Penny claiming this is a huge step in the right direction for her, despite making absolutely no progress since her weight loss surgery. The next time we see Penny is a month later, and she's having a doctor-appointed meeting with a therapist. Penny immediately starts lying to the therapist, telling her that she's down around 250 pounds, but that she might have gained a little bit of weight recently due to her infection. And that's when the therapist cuts her off, telling her that neither of them are going to continue to make excuses, and that without mobility she will struggle to lose weight. The first session was relatively unproductive, but it was one of the first times that I hadn't seen Penny push back severely on the advice of a medical professional. The episode ends with us being told that Penny only gets out of bed 1 to 2 times every month, and we see one of those outings with Edgar and her son. And though Penny seems positive, Dr. Now isn't, once again ending the episode on a pretty somber tone. He claims that Penny is unlikely to change because she has no reason to, and she will continue to use people to her own ends. It was honestly shocking how little runtime Penny had in her episode of Where Are They Now? But it makes so much sense because even today she hasn't made any changes. Penny's last public social media post was sometime in 2020, and she looked relatively unchanged. Same with her husband Ed. And from what I can gather, Penny is still alive and well in Maryland, living nearly identically to how she was in 2014 when we first got a good look at her. To me, Penny's situation is extremely interesting because at first she was doing quite well, getting bariatric surgery and losing all of the weight required by Dr. Now. But after the surgery, almost immediately as she could begin to eat solid foods, it all went off the rails. Penny is also interesting because the doctors did not give her more than 5 years to live her kind of lifestyle, and she's kept it up for over 10. So I have to agree with Dr. Now, she will likely never change. Ed gets her anything that she needs. And now her son is all grown. If Penny wasn't gonna change then, she won't anytime soon.